Good morning, Marines. This is Staff Sergeant Perry here again with Marine Corps Engineer School. Today I'm going to be showing you guys the first terminal that we'll be using here while at Marine Corps Engineer School. So the cup terminal is the first one that we're going to use. You guys should already have one of these, but if you do not have one of these in your boxes, go ahead and come up here, ask the instructor, and we'll give you a cup terminal. Okay, so what I've done is I've already tinned my wire. If you look at our previous video, you can follow the steps to tin your own wire, but you need to make sure we have a previously tinned wire, and then again, whatever terminal we'll be soldering. So the cup terminal is used inside of a jack. That's why we're gonna be using a jack today, so you guys can see the real life application of how to use these things. So in an amps generator set, you guys will see there's probably a collection of like 5 or 6 of these, of various jacks and plugs that we use. If you had just one bad wire from your entire jack, each one of these will have a terminal coming out of it or into it, whichever way you want to look at it. So if one of them, let's say a wire broke off, or maybe your whole terminal broke off inside of it, you'll be able to place this terminal back in. And today we're going to show you how to wire this wire back onto our terminal. So what I did first was I placed this inside of my jack here. You guys don't have a jack, you just have a helping hand, so you can go ahead and just place your cup terminal on that helping hand, so that way you guys can properly solder. So what I'm looking for before I flux this or before I do anything, just in terms of the proper sizing of my wire, I'm gonna go ahead and place it inside of my terminal here. Once I get it there, what I'm looking for is the insulation gap here. So what I mean by that is I'll take the back side of my wire here, or my terminal, and make sure that I have about 1/8 of an inch to about 2 widths of whatever gauge that I am using. That's just to make sure there's a proper conductivity to it, so we're still maintaining the proper integrity of our wire, so that way it's still conductive, and so that way it'll conduct into our terminal. So now that I've made sure I have the proper insulation gap, I can go ahead and flux my wire. Like we said in the tinning video, you can never have too much flux. I personally don't like putting a whole heck of a lot, but I like to make sure it's nice and coated with everything. So that's probably about right. So I'm gonna go ahead and place that inside of my terminal. Okay, now we can go ahead and take our solder in one hand and then our iron in the other. What we didn't talk about before, you can do it whichever hand. I'm right-handed, so I'm gonna go ahead and place that iron in my right hand and place the solder in my left. If you want, you can do it whichever way. So now the thing when it comes to soldering terminals, we wanna make sure you apply a heat bridge to your iron first, and then apply heat to my terminal, and then I can apply that solder. So I can show you guys what I mean by that. I'll do the heat bridge just like we did for tinning. Okay, and so now I can apply the heat to the very back of my terminal here, wait for that color change in my flux, and slowly apply solder to my terminal. Leave the heat on for a little bit there. And now as I'm placing it back in my cradle, I do my wool, my sponge, and we can go ahead and remove our terminal and show you guys exactly what we're looking for and evaluating when doing this. So what we're looking for is that, again, that proper insulation gap, which we have here, and we're trying to make sure that it's properly soldered, not too much and just enough. So what we're really looking for is making sure that there's a proper connection on all sides of this wire, and then I can still see the individual strands of the wire to confirm that it's conductive and that it's going to travel properly through my wire. Once you guys have completed this, make sure you guys practice it a time or two, do about 3 or 4, and you guys can go ahead and bring it to the instructor that's in the classroom, and we'll kind of judge them for you, tell you guys specifically what we're looking for, and all of that. So please direct all of your questions towards the instructor, or you can go ahead and throw a comment in the YouTube section. Thank you.